The film begins somewhere on Skull Island. Kong, the island's huge ape, wakes up, grabs his food, and then crafts a spear out of a tree. He throws it, and it lands on the dome wall that serves as the backdrop for Skull Island. Dr. Eileen Andrews, a monarch scientist, is studying Kong, and he has forged a bond with Jia, a deaf girl from the Iwi clan whose family was wiped out by a tsunami and is now being cared for by Eileen. Eileen's assistant believes Kong should be allowed to leave the area, but she is concerned that if he is out in the open, Godzilla will pursue them because there can only be one alpha. It's been 5 years since Godzilla defeated King Ghidorah and crowned himself as the King of the Titans. Following all the destruction, a brand new organization named Apex Cybernetics, commanded by Walter Simmons, has intervened to assist in the reconstruction of society. Bernie Hayes, a former employee of Apex, hosts a podcast called Titan Truth Podcast where he shares his speculations about any covert activities Apex may be engaged in. In the next scene, Godzilla attacks the building as Bernie tries to enter it and appears to attack without provocation and destroying it. After destroying half the building, Bernie discovers what appears to be an underground core reactor. When Madison Russell hears about Godzilla's attack, everyone begins to question whether he really is as noble as he previously seemed. She goes to tell Mark, who is now more closely involved with Monarch, about this. Mark believes that Godzilla has caved into these horrible instincts. But Madison believes that Godzilla is not naturally detrimental. She frequently listens to Bernie's podcast and overhears him claim that whatever Godzilla-related events are occurring are the result of the Pensacola facility. In the next scene, Walter and Ren Serizawa, the son of Ishiro Serizawa, make a visit to Dr. Nathan Lind, a former Monarch scientist, at Denham University in Philadelphia. They contact Nathan about his Hollow Earth theory because they have found an energy signal from a possible Hollow Earth habitat. Walter desires the life energy from that location to battle Godzilla. Nathan's brother went missing while on a mission that was headed in this area. Walter demonstrates a vehicle that can safely transport him and a crew down there. Eileen, a former co-worker of Nathan's, is looked after so that Nathan might persuade her to employ Kong to help uncover the origins of the Hollow Earth. She hesitates because she knows that Godzilla and Kong's ancestors once engaged in a brutal war and that history might repeat itself, but she finally gives in. Kong is transported on a convoy ship, and Walter's daughter Maya joins the crew to make sure everything goes as planned. During the night, Jia hears Kong shouting in panic when they are sailing in the pouring rain. Eileen rushes outside and understands from Jia that Kong can understand and communicate with sign language, and she is aware that he does not believe the crew is looking out for his best interests. Josh, a friend of Madison's, joins her in the search for Bernie. They find his residence thanks to a tip from a man at the neighboring convenience store. Bernie doesn't communicate with them until he finds who Madison's mother was. He speaks with Madison and Josh about his conspiracy theory. She believes Apex caused Godzilla to attack by doing something. Bernie informs them of a sizable cargo shipment that has arrived at Apex as well as the tech he had earlier spotted. Back to the ship, Eileen questions Jia about why she didn't tell her that Kong can communicate, and Jia responds that Kong didn't want them to know. A little while later, Godzilla approaches the convoy, slams into them, and flips the ship. Kong is released from his restraints and pursues the enormous lizard. Kong manages to land a few good blows and knock Godzilla back into the water, but giant Godzilla fires his blue flame toward the sky, allowing him to take control and bring Kong underwater with his tail, almost drowning him. In an effort to rescue Kong and distract Godzilla, the team discharges depth charges, and it saves the ape. Then he emerges from the water and returns to the ship. Eileen instructs the convoy's captain to break the power that would cause Godzilla to believe he has conquered so that he can depart. They go through and it succeeds. When Bernie and Madison and Josh arrive at the dilapidated Pensacola facility, they discover that the core has vanished when they enter the bunker. After that, the three discover an elevator that descends beneath. They stumble upon a chamber with skull crawler-filled pods, but the chamber is lifted up and transferred to Hong Kong before they can escape. A fleet of helicopters and Ospreys transports Kong in a net to Antarctica, where he is placed near the entrance to the Hollow Earth. Kong looks around at the strange snow, then turns to see Jia standing on a nearby platform. Jia persuades Kong to enter the tunnel where he found the energy source since it might lead to his home. Kong directs the team to the tunnel, which leads to a portal with an inverted sense of gravity. They discover Hollow Earth there, a place where numerous other titans reside. The crew and Kong are attacked by winged monsters as they come across them, but Kong grabs hold of them and throws one of them to the ground. Another tries to choke and strangle him, but Nathan's ship fires at it, giving Kong opportunity to rip it apart, and even eat from its head. Kong continues his journey across the landscape until he reaches a cliff surrounded by a group of floating rocks. He leaps from the cliff and floats to another surface. The group eventually arrives at the Hong Kong Apex facility. They find themselves inside a massive dark chamber, where they learn what Walter and Ren have actually been up to, creating Mechagodzilla, a robotic creature that will be superior to Godzilla and put an end to humanity's Titan issue. The trio observes Walter put its strength to the test on an unfortunate skull crawler. They also learn that Ren is operating Mechagodzilla through a telepathic link with one of Ghidorah's skulls. Following that, Apex guards find them and apprehend the trio. As the crew explores Hollow Earth further, they arrive upon Kong's ancestral home. He takes up an axe crafted from a spike from Godzilla's ancestors' backs and discovers his family's throne room, where he sits like a real king. The axe of Kong begins to glow blue, and he sees a depression in the ground in the shape of his axe and inserts it alongside several other axes. This causes the floor to glow and pulse with energy, forming a Godzilla-like design and revealing the sought-after energy source. Despite Nathan and Eileen's objections, Maya then dispatches Apex Spider drones to extract a sample of the source for her father to use. Andrews objects, claiming that Apex cannot simply take the Millennium's find. Maya says they can do whatever they want and orders her men to aim their guns at the Monarch members, prompting an enraged Kong to roar in defense of the guards. The data is sent to Apex HQ by the drone, allowing the energy signature to be copied. Simmons eagerly tells Serizawa to get ready to deploy Mechagodzilla, but Serizawa warns that the upgrade has yet to be tested, and they don't know what effect the energy will have on the mecha. Simmons dismisses Serizawa's concerns and orders him to activate the mecha. Bat creatures attack Kong and the crew from above, but he beats them off. Following that, Godzilla has now arrived in Hong Kong and has discovered the source that leads to Hollow Earth. He exhales into it and fires a blast at Kong's axe to charge it. Maya and her team attempt to shoot Kong down amid the chaos, but he grabs their craft and crushes it in his paws. He then makes a flying leap through the portal, followed by Jia, Nathan, and Eileen. Kong grabs his axe and starts round 2 between him and Godzilla. They destroy the city and its skyscrapers, but Kong responds in a rage by attacking Godzilla with an axe. Because his blue flame has no effect on it, Kong is able to put Godzilla down with a single strike. However, Godzilla stands back up and uses his foot to knock Kong back down. He roars in Kong's face, but Kong responds with a roar of his own. Godzilla then spares him and proceeds to move on. The group is led to Walter, who intends to mount Mechagodzilla on the original Godzilla in order to demonstrate humanity's superiority over other life forms. Unfortunately, soon as Ren connects to Mechagodzilla, Ghidorah's consciousness takes control. Mechagodzilla throws its claw towards Walter, killing him, as Ren is electrocuted by the override. The metal creature emerges from the ground and pursues Godzilla, starting to overwhelm him with its might and more potent heat blast. Jia detects a slowing in Kong's heartbeat, so Nathan uses the Apex vehicle to provide a charge strong enough to revive Kong. Jia informs Kong upon his awakening that Godzilla is not the enemy. He realizes and leaps into action to combat Mechagodzilla before it can strike Godzilla with the fatal blow. Kong smashes the enormous robot with his axe, and Godzilla enters the fight. Godzilla, sensing Kong's support, charges the axe with his atomic breath as the great ape begins to cut off the limbs of Mechagodzilla before pulling off its head and presenting it as a trophy. After that, Madison reconnects with Mark and he meets Bernie, who wished to have him on the podcast to explain more Apex and Monarch cover-ups. Then Godzilla rises up and turns to face Kong, who puts down his axe to denote their peace. The Titans look at each other as worthy opponents before Godzilla returns to the sea. Kong has made Hollow Earth his new home, where Nathan and Eileen have established a brand new research facility. He keeps up his friendship with Jia and continues about his duties in the kingdom, where he is once more the ruler. The movie ends here. I hope you have enjoyed this. Like, share and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Have a good day and thanks for watching.